and welcome to Classic Tracks of the 70s and how to play them. Today we have a look at how to play The Wizard by Tony Iommi and Black Sabbath. Track 2 from the band's debut album, and I suppose track 2 of what many feel is the very first complete front-to-back heavy metal album. Now, this certainly won't be the first YouTube tutorial for The Wizard. However, I'm going to do my damnedest to make it the most accurate, including the short mid-song solo to this one. Plus, as a bonus, I'm going to show you guys how to play all of the harmonica parts to this one as well, as I'm a world-class harmonica player. And, no, I'm not. I have no idea how to play the harmonica. Regardless, let's get started with this one, shall we? We are in standard tuning for this one, and the track starts, of course, with harmonica, and when the guitars kick in, they kick in with this monster riff. And you're going to repeat that 4 times at the beginning of the track. Power chords, 3-finger power chords, A power chord up to a C power chord, and then back to an A power chord. And then slide out of it. Now we're going to go back to the C power chord, hit it twice, into this lick. With our ring finger, we're going to slide from 5 to 7 of the A string, down to 5 of the D, roll back up to the 5 of the A, back off to the 3, and then drop onto the 5 of the low E. Right, that's the little fill line between the riff. Right, you repeat that 4 times. And then the final time, you're going to do a little pull off from 5 off to 3, and then back onto 5 of the low E and let it ring. Right, and then we're into that little lead break at the beginning of the song. All A minor pentatonic work here, almost all going on here on the 5s and 7s, but it starts with trills, 2 trills between 3 and 5 of the A string. And after the second trill, you're going to grab that 5, slide it into 7, and then onto the 5 of the D, onto the 7. Then we're into this. All on the 5s and 7s. Finishing with a hammer on from 5 to 7 of the D. And then we're into this. Again, all 5s and 7s, of course, except when we go down to the B string, because it's the A minor pentatonic, we jump up to that 8, right? Finishing the solo with this. Just hammer on 5 to 7, down to the 5 of the A or D. Same thing between the D string and the G string. And then finishing with that. And that's that whole little solo. Good? Then we're back into the main riff again for 2 repeats. And again, you finish with a pull off from 5 to 3 back onto 5. And now we're into the first verse. And we're just going to repeat that 6 times for the first verse. A power chord, hit it twice, up to A sharp, and then back to A. Pretty simple stuff. So you repeat this 6 times, like I said. The first 2 times, just the band. 1, 2. And then the vocals come in. Misty morning, clouds in the sky. Now there's little fill lines that he's adding here between the vocal lines, right? The first one is that. He's grabbing the 5th fret of the G string and just giving it a really good waggle. Second one is this. It's a little trill between 5 and 7 on the D string. Back to this. Back to this again. For the third little fill line. Twinkling bells. And then we're into this, which we're going to repeat 4 times. C power chord, back to a B power chord, back to an A power chord, hit it twice, slide out of it. 4 times. Back into the main riff. 4 times. And again, after you repeat it 4 times, pull off 5 to 3 back onto 5. Into the second verse. 2 times without the vocals. Now the vocals come in. Back to the little fill line. That one again. Second fill line this time, second verse, is a unison bend here. 5th fret of the high E, 8th fret of the B, bending it. Right? Third fill line, trill, 5 to 7, D string. And then he adds 1 extra one this time. Goes back to that 5 again and gives it a waggle. Back into this again. 4 times. And then we're back into this, leading into the solo. And that's what we're going to be soloing over. So you do that once, and then the solo begins. And it's basically 4 licks between each one of these, right? And that comprise the solo. And so we're going to run through the solo, and then we're going to break it up into its 4 kind of separate components. So that's pretty much the solo. So the first one, you do a trill again like we did the first time, between 3 and 5 of the A string, but you're only going to do 1 trill, right, with like 3 hammer-on releases. And then you're going to drop onto that 5, slide it into 7, and then quick little hammer on 5 to 7 of the D string. And then you're going to take that, slide it up the neck, and slide out of it. So that's the first, what we're calling the first lick. The second one. So that's the second lick. That's the beginning of it. Starting on the 7, pulling off to 5 of the D. And then hammering on 5 to 7 off to 5 of the G. Now we're going to string skip down to the high E string and do 2 pull-offs from 8 to 5. And then you're just going to do the exact same thing right up the pentatonic on the B string and the G string. And then when you get to the G string pull off to 5, you're going to go back to the B string, pull off 8 to 5. Kind of like that, right? Now this part is a bit buried in the mix, these pull-offs, and he kind of flubs it a little bit, and I think and then he just kind of leaves it, you know, and it kind of, there's a little bit of dead space going on in there, and I think he just, like, I kind of fucked it up a little bit and he just left it. But that's pretty close to what he's doing. Finishes the lick with this. Just basic blues licks, right? Finishing with a double bend there on the 7. And that is the second lick. Third lick. Similar to the second lick. That's the first half of it. And that's the second half. Again, all going on here on the 5s and 7s, mostly on the A, D, and G string. And now the final lick. Starts with a double hit on the 5th fret of the D string. And then you're going to grab the 7 of the A, quickly slide it back to 5 and then off to 3. And then you're going to just reverse it. And finish it with a double hammer on 5 to 7 of the D string. And that's the solo. So let's take it right from the very beginning, nice and slow. And then we go back into this. And we repeat this 8 more times. And this is where the harmonica solo comes in. And the harmonica is soloing over this. And after you repeat it 4 times, the vocals come back in for the final verse. And at the end of the final verse, we're going to go back into this 4 times. C to B to A. And then we're back into the main riff for 4 repeats. At the very end, so at the very, very end, we're going to hang on that C and repeat that 3 times. And then finally finish the track with another pull off from 5 to 3 back onto 5 of the low E. Done. That, my friends, is how you play The Wizard by Black Sabbath and Tony Iommi. I certainly hope you found that helpful, and if you did, please hit that like button. Drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already, as that would be awfully kind. Hope you're well out there in your little guitar corner of the world, as always, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.